Love and possession. Um, I guess when you are, it's interesting how love and possession have this automatic connection, if I can say that. Um, because, once you love someone or love something, you just, you know, let it become, their connection becomes that it belongs to you. It's yours. It's only yours. It's not to be shared or, you know, taken away or what have you. And while I'm speaking on this right now, my mind traveled to the thought of marriage and how I don't know if those vows, like the interpretation of marriage, if that, also plays into the part of the thought of ownership, possession of someone, because, you guys are making this verbal, and I guess you can say written commitment to each other that you will only be for that only person. And then, whether it's through vows or even just a confession of love to that person, or, that you just feel like it's supposed to be forever, like it just cannot be defiled or disconnected. And one of the things that need to be considered is that love is free. Love is a sign, a symbolism of freedom. Possession is a connection or a definition of ownership, captivity. So that's why I said it's so interesting that they link together when they really are a conflict of each other. Because, no one can force you to love something. And again, my mind travels to, when I say that comment, my mind travels to, what is that term called? Where people are married, arranged marriages. And, there is no love there. There is a commitment. And, from what I've heard or seen, read about or whatever, is that, sometimes eventually they love each other or possibly care for each other, but, it's not something that is forced. You can't, I don't care how you do it. You can't force somebody to open their heart to you. Whether it is, and force doesn't always mean something that is of a violent kind of act. Force could also be in the form of just, so gentle and caring, and you're just showing this person that you just care about them and you love them so much, and you're just saying, okay, my love will eventually have you want to give me this love back in return. And that's not true. It does not always work that way. Because just like everything else, love is a choice. And there are people who love folks that show them the smallest amount of kindness and generosity. And then there's people who have it drenched, rained, saturated in it, and they won't love somebody. So, to use that as your vice, it is not. But anyways, love and possession. Love is freedom. Possession is captivity. When you are loving someone, whether it be your child, family, friends, I guess even animals, whatever, you have to, especially those who have the right to come and go, you have to give them that freedom to love them. And when I think about it, and maybe this will cause you to think also, is that when you're loving someone and giving them that freedom of love, the true freedom of love, then it's unconditional. But when you're loving someone and there has a form of possession, then it's conditional. You're saying only this far for the love, only this far. So just keep that in mind. Put that in some consideration with love and possession, because I know it's so easy to say mine. And the reason why is because we love it. It makes us feel this, yummy goodness inside, and we want it all the time. And we want it as often as possible. And so with that, we feel like if we have control over it, then that helps us tap into it as much as we want when we need it, when we need those fixes. But you're tapping into another person. You're trying to force them to give you something that's supposed to be free and sincere, and now it's being choked, and forced and conjured out. So give that free, unconditional love. Remind yourself, because it's going to take constant reminders, and I believe that's simply because that's just how we've been conditioned, to become very protective, to the sense of possessive when something that warms your heart is near. You don't want anything near it that feels like it may take it from you. But let's say if it does, the love that you gave, was it a mistake? I don't think that's possible if it was free and sincere. How do you make a mistake in loving something that you could not do otherwise with?